right, good evening. I'd like to call the February 10th, 2022 meeting of the Greenville City Council to order. I'm Mayor P.J. Connolly, and I will be presiding over the meeting tonight. Please join me for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Mayor Connolly.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Glover has let us know she will not be joining us tonight. Councilmember Daniels. Councilmember Bell.
Here.
Councilmember Smiley.
Here.
Councilmember Litchfield.
Present.
Councilmember Meyerhofer.
I am here.
All right, Mayor Connolly, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to the approval of tonight's agenda. Madam Manager, any recommended changes?
No changes this evening, Mayor.
Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second. All right, motion's been made by Councilmember Bell, second by Councilmember Meyerhofer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, we'll move on to special recognitions.
Thank you. And I would like to call forward Bobby Steinbeck and Kevin Mulligan. As city manager, one of the honors that I get to do is to recognize the good work of our employees, and especially at the time that they retire. And I have a distinct honor this evening to recognize two employees. I'd like to begin with Bobby. Bobby began his career with the city of Greenville in June of 1989, where he became an auto services worker for our fleet division and the public works department. He worked for us for 7 years, and then he left for a little bit. And then he realized he needed to come back, so he returned to the city in 2001 and worked the remainder of his career, retiring from the city with 27 years and 4 months. Bobby has been our primary transit bus mechanic and was always dedicated to keeping the city's transit buses safe and operational. He continued his education and his knowledge by completing multiple certifications and certificates. Bobby's knowledge and experience assisted him daily with keeping the transit fleet operating in a smooth and orderly fashion, and also assisted with repairs on fleet's heavy trucks and equipment. He is an outstanding all-around mechanic. Bobby worked in different sections of the fleet shop and would change his work schedule to assist other co-workers, helping to ensure a good work environment. He also made every effort to help and mentor employees. Bobby is a true professional with an outstanding work ethic. Bobby. And he will be greatly missed, and we certainly wish him well on his well-deserved retirement. Kevin, would you like to say something?
Sure, say a few words. It was very well done, and very, especially the part about Bobby mentoring. Over the last 6 months, Bobby's been mentoring. This retirement date's been on Bobby's mind, and he's been mentoring new mechanics that we have in the methodologies of transit, working on our transit vehicles, and very important aspect. And Bobby's he's some of a quiet guy. When you get to know him, extremely funny guy. So we will miss him on a full-time basis, but Bobby has agreed to come back on a part-time basis where we can utilize him and continue to train some of our younger mechanics. So we really appreciate that, and really happy for you that you get to experience retirement, and hopefully you're enjoying it.
Thank you,
so
please join me in congratulating Bob.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Now I would like to call forward Henry Best, Chief Sanders, and Chief Davenport. Again, a real honor for me to be able to recognize a city employee who served the city so well. Just a little bit about Henry. Henry began his employment with the city, his career with the city, back in January of 1993, and he was one of 12 fire rescue trainees who started on that date. He worked his entire career as an integral part of Shift 2 and could regularly be found providing guidance and mentoring to the fellow fire rescue employees of various rank and tenure. He has a great attitude, a calm demeanor, always made him a welcome addition to any station that was lucky enough to have him assigned for that shift. Henry achieved the rank of Fire Rescue 2 with the department, and at the time of his retirement on February 1st of 2022, he had achieved 29 years of outstanding service to this community. So I'm going to give the microphone to Chief Sanders and then to Chief Davenport.
So, Henry, I'm meeting you for the first time today, so that's why I have Chief Davenport here. But the one thing that I want to say is the goal of the fire service is always to take in a trainee and 30 years later have him retire a happy, fulfilled, older firefighter, right? Yeah. So to all the young firefighters that we have, that's the goal, is to serve well, to be healthy, and to be able to walk away in your retirement and enjoy the rest of your time. So I just say congratulations, and I'll turn it over to Chief Davenport.
Thank you all. I wanted to say a few words about Henry, better known by his fire department family as Best Man. So it was always one that could be counted on to assist any of his coworkers when they were in need. He could regularly be found lending an ear to a coworker that was having some sort of difficulty at work or at home, and he's always quick to pull someone aside to offer some one-on-one mentoring and guidance. I want to take this opportunity to speak to a few things that many of you may not know about Henry. He was always a very active member on our department's recruitment team and could always be counted on to volunteer to serve on our hiring panel, interview panel. Henry always gave good feedback and was a very good judge of character when it came to helping the leadership of the department make good decisions on new hires. When Henry began his career with Greenville Fire Rescue, he was nearing the end of his 20-year career in the United States Navy, and for that I want to thank you as well. In 1993, when he was hired by the city, Henry had been working for Norfleet Shipco in Newport News, Virginia, and was looking for a career closer to his family, mainly his mother in Robertsonville, and lucky for us, our department fit the bill. So Henry continues his deep dedication to family, with his proudest achievement in life being his daughter, Kylie Ray, who's out here in the audience with us this evening. In closing, from the Fire Rescue Department, I would like to extend our thanks and great appreciation to Henry and his family for all the many years of service to the city. And finally, I would like to wish the best man all the best in his retirement.
Thank you. Give it to Alfred.
Forgot to present you with your official retirement plaque. Congratulations.
All right, we'll move on to the public comment period. The public comment period is a period reserved for comments by the public. Items that were or are scheduled to be the subject of a public hearing conducted at the same meeting or another meeting during the same week shall not be discussed. A total of 30 minutes is allocated, with each individual being allowed no more than 3 minutes. Individuals who register with the city clerk to speak will speak in the order registered until the allotted 30 minutes expires. If time remains after all persons who have registered have spoken, individuals who did not register will have an opportunity to speak until the allotted 30 minutes expires. Madam Clerk, our first speaker.
All right, the first speaker is Mr. Stephen Hardybrows. Mr. Hardybrows, you have 3 minutes to address the mayor and council.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council,
Good evening.
staff members, commissioners. Thank you for the 3 moments of your time. I know in Pitt County, I'd like to just recognize some of the progress we've made, but some of the progress and the work we still need to do. In 2020, we had 43 deaths on our roadways in Pitt County. In 2021, that number dropped to 21. That included Floyd Barrett of Greenville, Michael Mahoney of Grimesland, Brandon Armstrong of Ayden, Kenesha Wiggins Brigmage of Winterville, Crystal Scott Tate of Rocky Mount, Ricky Anderson of Winterville, Harvey Frazier of Greenville, Madison Wilson, her brother Devin, J.T. Winstead of Edgecombe County, and Abby Foster of Farmville, Rufus Lacey of Greenville, David Wayne Purvis of Stokes, Johnny Perkins of Greenville, Jason Jackson of Greenville, Jesse Cox of Greenville, Derek Shirley of Farmville, Catherine Neal Asireno, a student at UNC Chapel Hill, Carrie Silverthorne of Plymouth, Mary Smith of Farmville, Dennis Sprangler of Greenville. You know, a couple of years ago, we were #1 in the state for the crashes and killings and the deaths of our roads. But through the efforts of Greenville Police Department and some of the community leaders, we dropped to #7. This year, we're #8 in the state. But I think we can do better. We can keep making progress. I think we can continue to work on accessibility to make sure we all have safe, accessible sidewalks, crosswalks, and roads for everyone, so we all can move about and enjoy the Greenville, and enjoy Pitt County's life as best we can. Each of these deaths last year is a tremendous loss and tragedy for their families, friends, and in God's eyes. I urge you to consider, if possible, someday adopting a Vision Zero policy, because each one of these losses is a loss for each of us. Thank you for all your work, and looking forward to continue working with you to make sure everyone is safe in our area. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hardy-Braz. Appreciate it. I'm glad to see you here tonight. I know that you were in the hospital for quite some time, so we're happy to see you back out here advocating. Madam Clerk, our next speaker.
Next speaker is Mr. Alfred Adams. Mr. Adams, you have 3 minutes to address the mayor and council.
Good evening, council members, mayor, and residents of Greenville. My name is Alfred Adams. I've lived here in Greenville for 39, going on 40 years, and I've always found it a great place to live and work. I currently live across the river over near the industrial park, and I've been asked to speak on behalf of the River North Neighbors Group about the data processing plants. I was present when the meeting was held for the rezoning, and I understand that that has been passed. And I've heard a lot of various concerns about the data processing plants, and there's people that are against it for various reasons, but the main concern everybody seems to have is the noise. And I've been asked, and I would like to ask you now to pause and do independent economic and environmental studies. There's been a lot of reports from other places that have these facilities, and most of them are not very positive. And if it should become inevitable that these cryptocurrency processing plants become a part of our community, I would ask that every effort should be made to make them as energy efficient, as quiet and unobtrusive to the residents as possible. And I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Madam Clerk, our next speaker.
Next speaker is Mr. Don Cavallini. Mr. Cavallini, you have 3 minutes to address the mayor and council.
Mr. Fallon spoke for me. Good evening, by the way. I just want to point out to the council that we're not only here tonight but we're going to be here every night that you meet. And if you meet during the day, we'll be here during the day until you decide to revisit this whole issue of data mining within the city limits or in the extraterritorial jurisdiction. The whole back road to the left is filled with people from Brookhaven and Greenfield Terrace. They're your constituents. Represent them.
Thank you, Mr. Cavallini. Madam Clerk, our next speaker.
Mayor Connolly, we do not have any additional registered speakers.
Anyone else who'd like to come and speak during the public comment period, please come forward, state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Paul Fallon. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with y'all. I'm going to echo the sentiments of the last two gentlemen who have spoken. I am a resident here in Greenville. I've lived here for 20 years. I'm a Greenville property owner. And I ask you again that you reconsider the regulations that you made regarding modular data processing units. I believe that there is more study that is needed. I sent all of y'all an email with studies that actually dealt with this from Princeton, Columbia, and the University of Washington, dealing with the negatives as well as the positives. And all three pointed out very strongly the negative effects that come from these kind of facilities. I got no response from any of y'all, and I do not believe that y'all did the homework that you needed to do to actually make the determination that you did. In the process of coming into those regulations, transparency was not going on as the primary value. You had closed-door meetings with the company. You guys gave much more time to people in the industry than the people in the community in terms of input. Greenville ENC Alliance was quoted and actually given out as a source of information about this by the mayor, and that information was primarily bogus. It was articles that came from business and industry-related documents that basically supported them by citing the people in the industry. This is basically like asking the people in the cigarette industry about what to do about tobacco, or about oil companies what to do about fossil fuels. Further, they stated to the media, the local media, that Greenville, that the Compute North was not a cryptocurrency business. That's like saying Kentucky Fried Chicken isn't a chicken franchise. It's blatantly false. Yes, they might do some other things, but their major business, even on their front page of their web page, is about crypto mining. So I feel like there was not a real investigation. The questions were more toward them in a very friendly, jovial manner when, for example, a sound expert that came from ECU came and spoke specifically about the limitations of the studies that were presented by Compute North. There was no questions asked. Y'all made some adaptations to your regulations, but you did so basically by the seat of your pants without really consulting further with the facts that were brought to it. And I don't think that really there were independent studies that were made that would really address the issues that were brought by the sound. One of the major ones is you have a decibel level, say 50 decibels. That's fine. People, if you just go 51, you can immediately call and say that this is a problem.
That's time.
However, this is a source of noise that is going to be constant at 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There's a difference in that, in the quality of life of people around that type of noise than just, having a party and going up to 75 decibels for half an hour. I think that there are a lot of issues that were not addressed. There are a lot of questions that I noticed that you did ask, but I also think there are a lot of others that you didn't. And I really hope that you will take the time to do a proper environmental and economic impact studies before you go on forward. And I think that you should really reconsider those regulations.
Thank you, Mr. Fallon. I did reply back to you on January 13th at 10:22 a.m.
Thank you. I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Anyone else who'd like to speak during the public comment period may come forward. State your name for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening.
Good evening. Can you state?
My name is Robert Williams.
Ronald Williams?
Yes, sir. And I live north of the river. Just want to say the three followers just left from up here. They did a fabulous job talking. I got my mask on. Please forgive me for a minute, but I will take my mask off. I'm still trying to be safe. But they did a great job. What they're talking about. The neighborhood I live in, where I live at, people don't get on computer. Older people, they don't get on computer. They don't know a lot about what's going on, but what this thing gonna bring, the noise and the torture. They're gonna be some. I'm retired, and I don't want to hear this joke. But the three guys just spoke, Don and the other two guys, fabulous job. Y'all did a fantastic job. I'm not complaining about nothing, guys. Pitt County ain't but that big, guys. But it's a lot to think about, to bringing this stuff here. And just try to be safe if possible. I mean, I'm not trying to complain about nothing. I want to be professional as I can be. But it's not acceptable. Said no. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Anyone else like to speak during the public comment period? Please come forward, state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Good
evening.
Lucian Anderson. I live in the same neighborhood as Robert Williams. And just to piggyback on what he was speaking about, please consider that we already have the airport over there, and that keeps a lot of noise. Now, with this added on data processing, I mean, you guys, come on. We got elderly people in the area. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Anyone else who would like to speak during the public comment period? Please come forward, state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period and we'll move on to appointments. Madam Clerk.
The first couple of boards that we have are assigned to Mayor Pro Tem Glover, who is not here tonight. That is the Affordable Housing Loan Committee and the Human Relations Council, and we will check with her at the next meeting. The next board is the Police Community Relations Committee. Councilmember Smiley.
I have no appointment. I'd like to continue it, please.
Okay. Next is the Recreation and Parks Commission. Councilmember Bell.
I'd like to appoint Kevion Gaynor.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Kevion Gaynor.
Okay.
Second.
All right, motion's been made by Councilmember Bell, second by Councilmember Daniels. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
Congratulations, Mr. Gaynor.
Okay. And the last is also assigned to Mayor Pro Tem Glover, the Youth Council, and we will check with her next month. And that concludes the appointments. Mayor Conley.
Thank you very much. We will now move on to public hearings. This is the policy of the public hearings adopted by the City Council. A petitioner or a representative of the petitioner and a leader of those in opposition will each have 10 minutes. Persons following them will have up to 3 minutes each, with a total for each side of no more than 30 minutes. Additionally, I want to remind those in attendance to extend the courtesy to persons speaking during the public hearing and to the City Council during discussions. Comments made by members of the public are to occur only during the public hearing as allowed by the mayor in accordance with adopted policy of the City Council. There should be no interruptions of speakers or council members, including expressions of support or disagreements, verbally or by applause, as this is distracting and makes discussion difficult. We ask for your cooperation. Thank you. Madam Manager, our first public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. The first public hearing is to consider a resolution to close a portion of Southeast Alley. I'll call forward City Engineer Lisa Kirby for that presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, council members.
Good evening.
Jump right in. In 1973 and 1974, the city acquired easements for the right to construct and maintain a public access way and utilities over and upon the rear of several private properties from 4th Street to Cotant Street, now known as the Southeast Alley. The approximate location of the Southeast Alley is identified on the aerial photo by the blue boundary. In August of 2020, the city entered into an agreement with Greenville Ventures NC LLC for the construction of a hotel shown on this photo by the red diagonal pattern. As noted on the street closure map, Greenville Ventures NC LLC owns several of the parcels adjacent to the alley and has requested the city to close that portion of the southeast alley upon their properties for the construction of the hotel. All existing utility easements will remain in place until the utilities are relocated. It should be noted that the closure of this public access way will not impact access to the adjacent property owners. P&Z voted unanimously to recommend closure of this portion of Southeast Alley on December 21st, and staff also recommends closure. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Kirby? Councilmember Bell?
You may have mentioned it and I might have missed it. Did we speak with the business owners that are on the alleyway? Just inform them of
We
this?
would have notified anybody directly adjacent
Okay,
to
cool.
the closure.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Ms. Kirby?
Move to approve.
It's a public hearing. We're gonna go
Whoops,
through-
sorry.
I know you're excited, but we got to let the public come out and talk. Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Those who speak on behalf of the applicant may come forward. Please state your name for the record. The first person has 10 minutes. All others have 3 minutes. You thought you were going to get out of this.
Well, no, absolutely not. I'm Jeremy King, Lanier King and Pacer, attorney here. Good to see you, council members. It's been way too long since before COVID. It's been a while since I've been up here. And I'm certainly not going to beat a dead horse since we've already had a motion to approve it. But I represent, in this case, professionally, I represent the people that have acquired the hotel. And I know the city is behind this project because they deeded the land to the hotel to go behind this project. I also served as the chairman of the Redevelopment Commission, sitting where you guys were for 3 years, when we owned this parcel and we had to try to figure out what to do with it, how to get something in there to drive business and to drive development. And we kind of parked it for a while. We had some hammocks out there and a little path and made it lit and didn't spend much of the taxpayers' money. And lo and behold, market conditions have changed. We've got a good public-private partnership in this one, and we're ready to move forward. And then I come along and review the title of that track and determine that the public has rights to walk up and down that alleyway based on those 1973 maps. And even going back further, where the parking garage is, we built the parking garage maybe, 7, 8 years ago. That used to be the Flanagan Buggy Company, which I think became an auto dealership later on after they got rid of horses. The public actually had some rights to drive 2 teams of mules down there back in the 30s. So I actually, to speak to Councilmember Bell's point, there actually was a private easement for mule teams to go down there, and I actually spoke to all the people along the alleyway that had a right to have their mules go down there, and they were all notified and agreed to terminate the mule easement, which was private. We're just asking you guys to terminate the public easement so we can build the hotel, and no one will say, hey, can you move your hotel back 8 feet in a couple of years? So this doesn't even eliminate the right of the public to go from the parking garage to the hotel or anywhere down that. That would be kind of crazy if you were going to build a hotel. This is just eliminating the public access way where the footprint of the hotel is going to be. So if there's any more questions about the history lesson of that alleyway or any of the things that Redevelopment Commission did, I'll be happy to answer any questions. And if there's any opposition, I could probably answer some of those questions too.
I believe Mr. Smiley has several questions about the mules.
Actually, it's burros.
Yes. Could
I understand I understand the mule problem, but the burros, I really think that we need to preserve
I tell you what,
burro access to the.
I think if it's burro access though, because it's 8 feet wide for mules, burros are smaller, and the hotel could probably still be built.
Okay, good. In that case, I proceed.
Does anyone else have any
other questions for Mr. King?
And I would say that both Mr. Sandlin and Ms. Wallace are have come into town today to support the project too, and we're thankful for the opportunity to be heard.
Thank you. Any questions from Mr. King?
I know you spent a lot of time on that.
I did. I'm the one that called.
I mean that genuinely.
And I would apologize to the city attorney. I'm the one that called.
Deeds, and I know you're working on it.
And I do apologize to the city attorney. I'm the one that I think the public has a right to walk down there despite the fact that people own it, and I just want to make sure that it's taken care of. It's really a title insurance issue probably, but we got this great project and we want to make sure it's successful, and I got to sign off on it. So.
Sounds good.
Good job.
All right. Thank you very much. Anyone else that'd like to speak on behalf of the applicant may come forward. Please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes. All right, seeing none, those in opposition to the applicant may come forward. Please state your name for the record. The first person has 10 minutes. All others have 3 minutes. All right, public hearing is now closed. Open for a board discussion or a motion.
Move to approve.
All right, motion's been made by Councilmember Bell, second by Councilmember Meyerhofer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-1.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to our final public hearing of the night. Madam Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 5 is an ordinance requiring the demolition and removal of the dwelling located at 1217 Battle Street, known as tax parcel 1006. And I'll call forward Les Everett for that presentation. Mr. Everett?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
We come to you dealing with a dwelling at 1217 Battle Street, and we're trying to present an ordinance for you to approve for the demolition and removal. What we have here, of course, is the parcel information according to the county records, showing you an aerial view of the location off of Battle Street. Some information: this structure has been vacant for many years. There are no active utilities at the site. The respective building and land values are there for a total of $24,448. The structure was built in 1959. Approximately 1,000 square feet of living area was there. The estimated cost of repair to bring this up to minimum standards is a little over $100,000. And the estimated cost of demolition is not expected to exceed $10,000. I have here a few pictures that I'll go through to show you its condition. And staff recommends that council approve the ordinance requiring the demolition and removal of the dwelling located at 1217 Battle Street, tax parcel number 10006. And of course, as always, we'll be ready to begin the demolition process immediately following the 90-day stated waiting period. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Everett? All right. Thank you very much. Public hearing is now open. Those who speak on behalf of the applicant may come forward. Please state your name for the record. The first person has 10 minutes. All others have 3 minutes. All right, see none. Those in opposition to the applicant may come forward. Please state your name for the record. The first person has 10 minutes. All others have 3 minutes. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Open for board discussion or motion.
Move to approve.
All right, motion's been made by Councilmember Bell, second by Councilmember Daniels. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, wow.
We had to breathe in there.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. I will say before we move on, it just did not feel right without Shantae Gooby here tonight. I don't know. If you're watching us at home, Shantae, we miss you.
I just don't feel like we've heard from the planner. You know, we're just doing this.
Just doesn't feel right to have public hearings without Shantae here.
There's no plan.
I'm sure she misses the council.
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
Sure.
No.
Yes.
I'm sure she's not
All right,
watching either.
we'll move on to other items of business. Item number 6, Madam Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 6 is an ordinance amending City Code Title 9, Chapter 1, Article E, repair, closing, or demolition of abandoned structures, and Title 9, Chapter 1, Article F, Minimum Housing Code, to authorize filing and/or counseling and a notice of list pendants in minimum housing and abandoned structure code enforcement cases. And Assistant City Attorney Danae Alexander will have that presentation.
Thank you so much, Madam Manager. Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are you doing?
Good.
I stand before you this evening to provide information regarding an ordinance amending the city code to include the ability to file and/or cancel notices of lis pendens in minimum housing and abandoned structure code enforcement cases. When we talk about what is a notice of lis pendens, it essentially means pending suit in Latin. And it's a legal filing that essentially notifies subsequent purchasers or transferees of code enforcement actions affecting properties. And so once filed, it will bind the code enforcement action on subsequent purchasers. Filing and/or canceling is authorized by state statute 1-120.2, and the notice of lis pendens is to be filed and or canceled with the clerk of Superior Court in the county where the property is located. For our purposes, that will end up being Pitt County. And so I want to talk about some benefits behind this. We don't want to always be the cause of taking somebody's property, but it is a balancing act in that we are to protect the health, safety, and wellness of the citizens of Greenville. And so sometimes that requires us to move forward with enforcing code enforcement actions that result in removing and demolishing or being able to repair parcels that have been identified and being able to place those liens on those properties. And so with that being said, this will be an additional tool in the toolbox that will help the city staff, our code enforcement unit, be able to effectuate code enforcement compliance. And as a result of that, there will be upgrades to our efficiency, and also it'll be a cost reduction. Being able to file a notice of lis pendens is a very inexpensive filing with the clerk. And so we've been dealing with a lot of more complex cases recently that deal with a lot of air properties, a lot of notices that have to go out, and a lot of publications. And so this will avoid us having to duplicate those efforts. And being able to file this notice, and it will automatically put everybody on notice of the action that is pending if they are transferred the property. And so the other cost reduction we'll experience is that it will remove a requirement for a new title search. When we're doing title searches, depending on the length of the title search, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, we're paying anywhere from $125 to $500 if we're doing that more extended search. So being able to file these particular notices will alleviate us having to continue to ask for additional title searches. And so with that being said, several other cities are already using this tool, and we would like to add this to our arsenal. And with that, we would ask that you all would adopt the ordinance being able to amend our city code to authorize the filing and or canceling notices of lis pendens in our code enforcement actions.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Alexander? Wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Mayor.
Need a motion. Mayor and Council would actually take a motion to adopt the proposed ordinance that's in front of you, that item.
Second.
All right, motion's been made by Councilmember Daniels, second by Councilmember Meyerhofer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
Hopefully we'll get it together. We got one more item left.
I noticed that she's told us it costs us $6 for the first page of those and 25 cents for every subsequent page. So I think we should know how long these things are going to be before we get it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, the fiscal note makes no sense, right?
That's right. That's right. All right, Madam Manager, item number 7.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 7 is the second reading and adoption of an ordinance requested by the Police Department to amend Section 12-1-3 of the City Code to establish civil and criminal penalties in compliance with Session Law 2021-138. Chief Holtzman, I believe, is available for questions. We did do the presentation on this item on Monday night.
You don't think he wants to do a third presentation?
Had it all packed.
It is at the pleasure of the council. If the council would like to hear the presentation for the third time.
Does anybody have any questions for Chief Holtzman?
Sure
None of what you don't do is in Latin, is it?
No,
Okay,
nothing about
that's
birds.
very helpful, thank you.
So.
All right, anybody have any questions? Anybody want to entertain a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, motion's been made by Councilmember Bell, second by Councilmember Meyerhofer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, we'll move on to the city manager's report.
Mayor, I would request that the city council cancel the February 21st meeting.
Second.
All right, motion's been made by Councilmember Meyerhofer, second by Councilmember Bell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
Anything else, Madam Manager?
No, sir.
All right. Councilmember, comments by the council and mayor. Councilmember Litchfield?
No comment.
Councilmember Meyerhofer?
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
You
I'm
got
all
a special
set.
Valentine?
A couple. Thank you.
Councilmember Bell?
No comment.
Councilmember Smiley?
I have one comment, which is at the risk of being pedantic, the mayor noted that one of the public comment said that he'd sent an email to the members of city council and had gotten no responses, and that the mayor had noted that he had in fact responded. And I looked at my records, and I in fact responded to that guy too. So, wish people wouldn't come to the microphone and claim they're being ignored when they're not. When we're actually, I think I said 150 emails on that topic. That's all. Those are all my comments, Mayor.
That's good to have you have a comment tonight. How about Councilmember Daniels? Oh my goodness. All right, I got some comments. First and foremost, I would like to wish my mother a happy birthday today. It's her birthday. And I'm sure she's really excited that we're at a city council meeting right now. She's probably not watching us, but happy birthday, Mom. And then also I want to wish my daughter, my firstborn, Mary Kate, turns 9 on the 15th. So I want to wish her a happy birthday today, too. I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. I hope you guys have a great day and spend time with a special someone, or maybe by yourself, if that's what you want to do. And then also remind everybody that ECU baseball starts on the 18th. So 1 week from tomorrow will be the first pitch of the season. Make sure you get out and support our Pirates. I don't know how high they're ranked, but I know they're ranked pretty high right now. So we're expecting a really good season this year. I think this will be our year that we make it to Omaha. Just throwing it out there right now. Write it down. The mayor said it last year. The mayor's going to say it again this year. And on that note, I need a motion to adjourn.
Does that carry the force of law or just a proclamation?
I might write a proclamation.
Okay.
We'll see.
Second.
All right, motion's been made by Councilmember Bell, second by Councilmember Meyerhofer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Motion passes 5-0.
We are adjourned. Now.